to talk more about the performance of gold and its prospects. We're joined by Fortis's head of precious metals, Gerhard Schubert. Gerry, good morning. Thanks for joining us. As Jennifer was saying, it's been the place to be over the last 10 years. Is its bull run going to continue?
I mean, that is obviously the probably $1 million question, not $64,000 question. But I think the market is very comfortable with how gold and the all precious metals have performed over the last decade. I think the main question is the longs in the market, which the investment community, I think it's fair to say, is generally all long gold as an insurance policy of what happened, especially in the last 3-4 years. The main question for the next years is if the metal holders are going to hold on to the metal if it starts to weaken. With the world economy possibly on going into calmer waters and going onto a growth area, growth time again, I think the big question is, are the holders of the metal, the investment community, still holding on to metals as an insurance policy? If they do, and holding the metal for long term as a part of their portfolio, then I think the market will stay stable and probably will continue to go higher. The big question is, if they're worried that they're losing $50 or $100 on an ounce, if they're going to liquidate, then it might be difficult times ahead.
One of the key factors about gold's performance this year has been central bank buying, of course, Gerry. Do you think that will continue? Because central banks, many analysts say, aren't exactly known for their investment acumen. So to some, the fact that investment banks are buying, that actually could mean it's a sell signal. What do you think?
Well, I'm definitely not interpret this as a sell signal. I mean, okay, central banks and governments of this world have probably shown in several times that they're not the best investment manager, but to be honest, this is a fair chance for everybody, and nobody can say they're worse or better than others. I would like to believe that the buying which we have seen, especially from the IMF gold, and that is the only visible large amount of gold what comes to the market supposedly in the next 4 to 5 years under the gold agreement. And more than half of this is already gone through the sales to India, Mauritius, Sri Lanka. So I would like to believe that the remaining 190 tons or whatever it is, to be honest, just a drop in the ocean. And if Russia continues buying, Russia just had the internal swap from Gokran selling $1 billion worth of gold to the central bank, who has been an active buyer in the year 2009. I think it will continue, not for the reason of money gains, I think simply for the reason of continuing dollar diversification.
It's managing risk, isn't it? It's diversifying.
Not everything to be holding in dollar.
Yeah.
Precious metal, especially gold, for central bank is an asset class. And simply as an asset class, it will get an allocation and it's not price dependent.
What about jewelry? What about jewelry demand itself? Gerry, we're often talking about central banks and speculators, but what about simple jewelry demand? How's that panning out right now?
It's clearly have gone backwards. The traditional demand side for precious metal have gone backwards this year, with jewelry demand all over and physical demand all over the world stagnating and actually even in a surplus as it comes back with higher prices. But you have to see that the investment community means also the private individual who jewelry, that they have to get used to a different price level. And one thing we shouldn't ignore, we're talking all the time about gold in US dollars. Recently now gold has gone down, but it is at the moment probably more a view also of a weakness of the euro. Greece, Spain, Ireland, countries are having economic problems in the Eurozone. And I think gold in euros actually has performed very well in the last 2-3 weeks.
Still, though, Gerry, in dollar terms, gold is down about 10% from its highs. To some, that's a correction. Is that a healthy correction?
Absolutely. I think since 1,220, we keep saying 1,050 really is the level what should hold. Under 1,050, there is a possibility that we lose the chart, that we lose the uptrend.
Are we going to go back then to those levels in 2010, to the 1,200s? I mean, some saying $2,000 isn't unrealistic.
Probably that's the same people who said when we were trading at 280 that we're going to go to 150.
Yeah.
It's always... Excuse me, all the analysts' forecasts at the moment are very bullish for the complex. And that is a little bit of a warning sign for me. If we get a better economy in the years ahead, then it could very well be that platinum, palladium are the most beneficial, and the ratio to gold could widen.
Keep an eye on those. Thanks, Jerry. Gerry Schubert, there, head of precious metals at Fortis.